That is not the issue. If homosexuality is a sin, it comes into play when you commit the sexual act of homosexuality. And I said, if that is what you believe, then it is quite simple, maybe not easy, but quite simple to not sin in that vein. I said, just be celibate. Just because, I mean, you might say, and you might be convinced, and you might truly believe in your heart and soul that you were born this way. Fine. But just because you were born gay, or just because you were born straight, doesn't mean you have to engage in the activity of sex. There are lots of people, both gay and straight, that are celibate, or asexual, if you will. You have a choice. No matter what your personal sexual preference, you have a choice. And that is what Christ told us. We all have a choice. God gave all human beings a free will to be able to make their own choices. Now, you're going to have to stand and be accountable for your choices. No matter what those choices are, you're going to have to be accountable for it. So you can't get out of it. I mean, it's kind of like you commit a crime, in society. Well, you have to be accountable for it. Well, I know some people get off, but you still got to be accountable until you're able to get off. You have to account for whatever you are accused of doing. Now, when it comes to God, he already knows what you did. You can't hide it from him. So you're going to be accountable for all your actions. You can't erase them with good deeds. And you did them, And now you're going to have to, you can look back and say, you know what, I was ashamed that and there are people that, they do a crime and they get caught and they get punished and they come to realize that was really bad, really dumb, really stupid. They shouldn't have done it. They're ashamed that they did it. They sincerely are sorry. In other words, they repented. All the way up to murder. I mean, there are people that, that murdered people. And they spent their time in jail, and they've come to realize what they did was, and some people, you see them, they sincerely cry at their crime. And they're sincerely apologetic, and they really mean it. They repented. And if they had it to do over again, they wouldn't do what they did. Now, of course, there are some people that are not repentant. In other words, they're not sorry. So they would do it again if they had the chance, basically. But when you come to the point where you're just sorry that's one, I guess you can say that's one way for you to erase your action or your sin is to truly repent and be sorry for it. But you're still going to have to account for it. So if you don't want to, just being who you think you were born to be, is not something you're going to have to account for. It's your actions that you're going to have to account for. That's what I said. I never said, as I was accused in the letter, that God hates gays. I never said, as accused in the email, that gays shouldn't have the same rights as other people. I said, no, I just said that marriage is a religious ceremony and that the government has no place in it. Now, and what you do in your bedroom, as long as it's not totally disgusting, and yeah, society has a right to decide what. I'm sorry, I don't care if you are in your bedroom, having sex with a donkey or a sheep or a dog is just not right. No, bestiality should not be allowed, period. But if you're a woman and you want to have sex with another woman behind closed doors, go ahead. If you're a guy, you want to have sex with a guy behind closed doors, I don't have to know about it. Nobody else has to know about it. And this whole notion that, you got to come out. Why? Why do you have to? Is it anybody else's business? I mean, nobody runs around saying, I'm straight. I just thought I'd tell you. Who cares? A person came to me and he says, I just think you should know something, Rod. I said, what? I'm gay. I said, you felt the need to tell me that. Why? Well, I just wanted you to know, and I didn't want anything to change. I said, look, I like you for you. I don't care what you do in your bedroom. You don't flaunt it in my face. You don't throw it in my face. You're not running around screaming gay this, gay that. You're not acting like a total nut job. Why did you feel the need to tell me? I'd react the same way if you were to come up and say, hey, Rod, I'm straight. So what? What do I need to know that for? I don't. I mean, everybody makes this big deal about coming out to friends and family and why? You know who makes a big deal out of it? Believe it or not. Now, I'm probably going to get some more wonderful flame mail for this. You know who makes a big deal out of this? Gay people. Yes. It's not straight people. Look, most of us, if you didn't flaunt it and throw it and fling it in front of everybody's face, wouldn't give two hoots. But I just want to be myself. Great. And I want to bring my lover home to my parents. Well, you know what? It's your parents' house. I don't understand this whole need to force your parents to accept you. Let it go. Yeah, it hurts. I'm sure it does hurt. Emotionally. But let it go. You'll be happier. Your parents will be happier. The whole world will be happier. Just let it go. I don't see people, there are people that join the Army and their parents don't want them to join the Army, but you never see them, complain and get fiercely emotionally hurt because their parents their parents are pacifists and you join the Army. Why is it always about just being gay or not? And I'm sorry that I took time for this, but I just felt that it was necessary because I think people are misunderstanding and misconstruing, either on purpose or an accident or both, about my stance on homosexuality, gaydom, if you will. Look, there's no need for you to flaunt it. Because, straight people don't flaunt it. There's, don't try to be in my face about it. So that's it. Speaking of diversity and so-called civil rights, and I stand by my statement. Let me put it to you plainly so you can understand it. Quote unquote homosexual civil rights is not the same thing as civil rights. You have a choice about how you act with your homosexuality. You don't have a choice about being black or Latino. Nobody has to know that you're gay. But it is impossible for people not to know that you're black. So, huge difference. Huge. I stand by that. Now, I do get upset when gays try to. Gay black people get upset with that too. So don't even say, well, no, all gays are believe. No, they don't. Black gays get. There was in fact, there was a story a couple of years ago in Boston when they were talking about so-called gay rights, and it's when they were talking about legalizing gay marriage in Massachusetts. And, some white gays were saying, well, it's the same thing as civil rights. And some black gays were saying, excuse me? No, it ain't. Now, when black gays say it ain't the same, then it ain't. Plain and simple. Trust me, they got the difference and they know the difference. So go with them. If you don't want to believe me, go with them. But speaking of diversity and civil rights, because we got, Martin Luther King Civil Rights Day coming up in about a week or so, a little over a week. People are starting to notice something about Obama. Now, this is something that the rank and file liberal nut jobs that are so in love with Obama have not noticed. But I've noticed it, and evidently some in the mainstream media have noticed it, and now Charlie Rangel has noticed it. Has anybody noticed who Obama has nominated for his new cabinet for his second term? I mentioned this yesterday. They're all old white men. And now Rangel today has come out and given an interview, and this is what he said: White House lack of diversity, embarrassing as hell. That's right. Democratic Representative Charlie Rangel of New York piled on Thursday as the White House faced criticism for a lack of diversity. Now, this is coming from the administration of the first black president of the United States of America. It'd be one thing if they were all black. But no, Obama's naming all old white guys. And isn't that what liberals keep saying? Well, and blacks keep saying, a bunch of old white guys put us into slavery. And a bunch of old white guys are the ones that keep holding us down. Well, now Obama just nominated a bunch of old white guys to make his administration the most lily white old man white guard probably since the 60s. Hell, I think LBJ's White House administration was probably more diverse than Obama's is right now. It's embarrassing as hell, said Rangel, a founding member of the Congressional Black Caucus. He said it on MSNBC's Jansing and Company after noting his concern for President Obama's record on whom he chooses as advisors. We have been through all this with Mitt Romney, and we were very hard on Mitt Romney when the woman binder and a variety of things. I kind of think there's no excuse in it the second term. Yes, remember, not only they're old white guys, but they're guys. No women. And they jumped on Romney for having, a binder of women candidates. Well, I guess, maybe the reason why they're old white guys is because the president doesn't have any binders of women and binders of minorities. So he went with a bunch of white guys. But Charlie Rangel. This old black guy has noticed that a middle-aged black guy, who's the first black president, is giving all the good plus jobs to old white guys. And not even women, not even white women, old white guys. Replacing, he's replacing an old white broad with an old white dude. I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe the Secretary of State, maybe Obama was afraid because the ambassador to the UN, well, she's black too, isn't it? She's at least, she's mixed, half black at least, right? I think so. She's not white, at least not all white. And Susan Rice, she can't, since nobody wanted her, they must be racist. So that means I'm gonna nominate a bunch of white guys. Can't be racist against them. Folks, look, you can't make this stuff up. Really, Charlie Rangel is there's more than Charlie Rangel. I think you got to ask yourself, you wonder if Obama actually goes through with this and keeps adding old white guys, will people like Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton and the Reverend Wright stand behind Obama in his second term? Or maybe Obama should watch his back.
I always loved watching the kids play basketball. I still do, even though things have changed. It's funny, they can't find jobs to get their careers started. And I can't afford to retire. And now we're all living together again. I supported President Obama because he